It's set to go here from LP Fieldhouse. No changes to the lineups for LP or for CH. Sarah Bartholomew wins the tip, and off we go. Here's Kennedy Woolston, who's back in the lineup after missing one of the games of the Hoop Fest. And she drives immediately to the basket. Can't spin that one in. The rebound is tapped out of bounds, and we'll go back to CH.
Grizzlies basketball.
Copperhill's led by head coach Jake Timpson in his 4th year at the helm of the Grizz. Nancy Warner, of course, in her 11th season at the helm of LP. The Lone Peak Knights have not dropped multiple games to opponents outside of the Holiday Hoop Fest, meaning teams in the state of Utah. They haven't lost multiple games against Utah opponents since 2020, as Naya Tanavasa opens the scoring.
See how just effortlessly Tanavasa just walks into the basket.
That shot rolls off the rim from Ayla Marston, and the rebound comes down to Woolston. Kennedy's sister Kaylee, of course, in the audience tonight, as that lob pass goes over Bartholomew out of bounds. And it'll go back to the CH Grizzlies. So already a second turnover for the Knights just 2 minutes into the game. Two 2-0 LP here early on. Here's a three on the way from Marston. That's short. Chasing down her own rebound. Batted up, though. It comes to Bartholomew. Tanavasa dumps it back. Kennedy Woolston launches three. Knocks it down. And it's an early 5-0 lead here for LP. Frazier trying to get it through. Stolen by Nordstrom. Nordstrom to the basket. And a timeout is immediately called by CH.
You just notice the speed on both teams. They're pressing the ball. They're going fast. This is going to be a brutal game when it comes to cardio.
We're just underway here. A 7-0 lead here for Lone Peak in the early going. And we talked about how finishing possessions on the defensive end was a problem for LP coming in to the game. Zach, so far, done a pretty good job of finishing defensive possessions with those rebounds.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that that's what they talked about in practice after those losses, is that they want to get the ball and go to the hoop. So we're seeing that on the defensive end.
You saw Nancy Warner telling her players that in the huddle, telling her that they've got to talk defensively. An early 7-0 hole here for CH. Ellie Taylor dribbling through a whole mess of traffic, but it somehow found its way through to Frazier. She couldn't spin it in. And we got a foul on the baseline. And Ellie Taylor got really fortunate that that ball rolled right to Aspen Frazier. Otherwise, that would have been the second turnover for CH. Instead, it's an inbound underneath the goal. Here's Taylor Johnson back to Frazier. Frazier corner J on the way. That's off the back rim, no good, but the rebound is chased down by CH. Here's Taylor. She spots up behind the arc, and she knocks it down. She, who scored 4 3-pointers on that win against Syracuse last Friday, and there's her first.
We just see a battle of the 45s down low as Bartholomew gets another basket.
Off the floor, here comes CH, Ayla Marston. Jake Timpson's team returning all but one starter from last year as Ellie Taylor goes right hand. That doesn't go. Again, another offensive rebound, though, for Frazier. And we got a stoppage in play as the shot clock reset. Did the ball hit the rim? Nancy Warner is down here on our near sideline saying that it didn't hit the rim, so the shot clock should not have reset.
Replaces Shawny Nordstrom.
We don't have the benefit of instant replay. Warner's still arguing her case down here, but the official's not going to listen to it. In the low block underneath. Nice cut off the set. And laying it in is Skyly Barker. And so far, the two big guns on the board here, Ellie Taylor and Skyly Barker, they combined for 34 of the 49 points for Copper Hills in that win against Syracuse on Friday. Katie Lawrence's three rattles out. That won't go. Tip rebound comes down to Barker.
What you can notice about both teams is they're very quick to get the rebounds.
Kick out. Here's another three on the way. That's good. That time it's Taylor Johnson with the three. And all of a sudden, it's a one-point game, and Nancy Warner signals for a timeout. So Zach, a game of runs here early on. Lone Peak started with the first 7, but credit Copper Hills. They've come back with a force here, and it's because they've gotten good looks beyond the three-point line, and that's one of the things that, and it's another one of those things that Nancy Warner told us before the game. It's that closing out possessions killed them. So far in the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game, the Grizz already have 3 or 4 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, that's what we've seen is the Grizzlies are very controlled around the top of the key and around the arc. And so every play that they drop, just for instance that on that inbound play too, is very efficient. They know what they're doing and they're very controlled. So we'll see if the Knights can match it coming out of this timeout.
Lone Peak out-rebounding Copper Hills so far, but on the offensive rebound side, by my official count, it's Grizzlies 4, LP 0. And because of that, it has led to most of, if not all of the points for the Grizzlies so far, who are on an 8-0, 8-1 run. Tanuvasa goes to the basket, got her shot partially deflected by Taylor. Here comes Barker. Barker. Back to Johnson on the screen. Here's Marston. Taylor, that pass deflected, stolen by Nordstrom. Zuri Nordstrom coming up the floor with it now. In transition, Kennedy Woolston to the basket. Reverse layup. That won't go. Rebound chased down by Barker. She's trapped. Gets it to Lawrence, who finds Kennedy Woolston for the basket. Already the 4th turnover for CH. Barker, quick turnaround shot. Got it to go. Wow, what a tough shot. Going away from the basket. She's got 4.
And see, Coach Warner really wants that defense, how quick Copper Hills gets down on the other end of the floor. She wants her players to pick that up.
And the Copper Hills Grizzlies, give them credit. They're hanging around early. Katie Lawrence, she can't find the range from 3. That rebound is chased down by Frazier. And now here comes Barker. The trailer coming behind her is Frazier along with Marston. Ellie Taylor going to the basket. Count it and 1! What speed by Taylor to get around the defender and go to the basket, plus the foul, and Copper Hills has their first lead of the game here with 3 minutes and 7 left in the first period.
Just goes credit to show that Warner was, again, very controlled down low and found the basket easily.
Ellie Taylor, with that free throw, already has 6 points. And Copper Hills, since being down 7-0, now on a 13-4 run. And Lone Peak now has only 1 field goal in the last 3 minutes. Tanuvasa trying to end that, puts up the shot, that doesn't go. Bartholomew, offensive rebound, tries to go up, and she is capped at the summit, and a jump ball is called.
You can see
That's
that.
not something you see very often.
See, the Copper Hills bench was very excited about that jump call.
That is not something you see very often. Up the floor quickly. Frazier puts on the brakes. Back out. Barker for 3. That doesn't go. Bartholomew on a whole host of Navy shirts gets the rebound. Nordstrom, they could have numbers. Zuri over to Shawnee. Slashes to the basket. Reverse layup. That won't go. A lot of contact and a foul. Foul, I believe, is going to go against Zuri Nordstrom, and it's going to be a loose ball foul, and the turnover goes to Copper Hills. Already the 4th turnover for LP.
We're starting to see it get a little more physical here at Lone Peak on both sides of the ball.
Katie Lawrence and Kaylee Rich check into the ball game. Copper Hills just one field goal made in the last 4 minutes. Taylor fakes, drives, pass deflected out of bounds. It'll stay here. Good hands that time by Bartholomew down low. Naya Tanuvasa, 2 points on 104 shooting. Shawnee Nordstrom, 1 field goal. Or she has 2 points, and she's only 1 of 5 from the field. Long inbound comes in, nearly stolen away, but it's controlled there by Johnson. $15 on the shot clock here for Barker. Back it comes to Frazier. 10 on the shot clock now. Someone's got to get to work. Marston back to Johnson beyond the three-point line. 5 seconds. Good defense by Warner's crew, but it breaks down and it leads to a bucket as the shot clock expires by Skyly Barker.
You see, they just waited on that shot just until they had it. They didn't put up anything risky.
Nordstrom driving in and a foul. Foul called on Ayla Marston, her first, team first, and it comes with 1:38 to go here in the first quarter. Lone Peak, 1 field goal, Zach, in the last 5.5 minutes and 4 turnovers.
Just goes to show there's some action down low.
And they are really struggling to get anything around the rim right now. And you can tell, Zach, they're struggling to get anything around the rim right now. That Copper Hills defense has come out firing here early on.
They just turned on the speed, and it looks like Lone Peak was just not ready for that type of tempo this early on in the game.
Yeah, and it's almost like they're playing a mirror image of themselves. The run and gun mentality, the physical play.
Ooh.
Kennedy Woolston, they need the 3. They don't get the 3. Rebound to Barker. Barker sprinting up the floor with purpose. Frazier out front, back to Marston. Approaching a minute to go here in the first quarter. Taylor, back to Marston. Triple threat position, top of the wing, right side. Looking for a cutter. 13 on the shot clock. Again, CH getting deep into the shot clock here. But again, another defensive breakdown as Ellie Taylor slips in the back door and puts the presence home right under the tree. She's got 8. Lone Peak just needs to get something here at the end of this quarter. Lawrence, one more. Woolston for 3. That doesn't go. Tanuvasa the offensive board. Shawnee Nordstrom 3. Ta-ching! A much-needed basket for LP.
Deep basket by Nordstrom. I think she was 2-3 steps behind the 3.
That was almost college-length 3 right there. This will be the last possession of the first quarter. Taylor gets the screen. And we got a little hip check foul on the top of the key with 5 seconds left here in the quarter. The fourth on Copper Hill, the fourth on Lone Peak, so it'll be bonus of the next foul. Alyssa Loza comes in to replace Taylor Johnson. She gets it out front with 3. And she gets it stolen. Tanuvasa, though, not going to get the shot off, as I believe there was a foul before the buzzer, so we're going to have some time put back on the clock here. So I would suspect about maybe, 0.5 or 0.6? We'll see how generous they are. As we're going to have a discussion. I believe the official marker is 0.4 of a second. Enough time to get up a shot, or at least a tip. And they won't get one as the clock runs out here in the first quarter. Well, what a first quarter and what a response by Copper Hills. Lone Peak came out guns a-blazing early on, but Copper Hills answered back, and they lead by 3 at the end of 8 minutes here at the Fieldhouse. Bitters is a proud sponsor of KSL Sports Rewind and our coverage of UHSAA basketball, which continues on Friday as the Alta Hawks travel across the town to travel back to Sandy to take on the Woods Cross Wildcats. Coverage starts Friday night, 7 p.m. on your home for UHSAA basketball, KSLSports.com. And next Tuesday, the Copper Hills boys play a game that has been circled in red in West Jordan for many, many months. It's the renewal of the Battle of the Belt between the Jaguars and the Grizzlies. Coverage starts next Tuesday, 7 p.m. with Dusty Littster on the call on your home for UHSAA basketball, KSLSports.com. Alexander Timolip alongside Salem Hills track star Zach Hunter here at LP Fieldhouse. Not very often the Lone Peak Knights trail at home, but they are right now to Copper Hills after such a hot start. Lone Peak was held to just 2 field goals in the final 6 minutes of that first quarter. After starting 7-0, they were outscored 17-7. Kennedy Woolston can hit that 3, and the rebound comes down to Loza.
It's been a rough shooting night behind the key for Lone Peak so far.
Ellie Taylor, nice backdoor cut, and the finish. She was part of that scoring tandem that scored 34 of the 49. She's already got 10 of the 19 here in just a quarter and a minute. That's insane. Tanovasa trying to answer. She certainly does. And a much-needed three-pointer consistently hit there, as that's just Tanovasa's second field goal. Here's Marston out front, lobbing cross-court on the swing. Johnson matched up against Lawrence, gets the return to Frazier. Now back to Marston. Reset to Loza, 15 on the shot clock. Loza dribbles below the free throw line, back out now to Marston, back to Loza, 10 on the shot clock. Loza, little hook shot in the lane, that doesn't go, tip, and the rebound speeding up the court with it is Shawnee Nordstrom. Nordstrom charging hard, looking for somebody to get it to, almost threw it out of bounds, but somehow kept in play. And then Kennedy Wilson gets free, and Tanovasa left open for 3. That goes over the rim, no good. And after all that, it comes to nothing. But you
see Wilson just going all around the court down low.
I mean, my goodness.
She came in on up top and then was down low, and she was all over. She's getting a workout in tonight.
This feels like a playoff game. It really does. It has that feel, Zach, of a playoff game, and we're only in December.
Playoff game for Christmas.
Exactly. Merry Christmas is Taylor continuing to be a terror. She's already got 12. And again, another great backdoor cut off the baseline, and the great find. That time from Skyly Barker. Tanovasa. Turn around in the post. Yes! And she's starting to heat up. She's got 7. Copper Hills has outscored the Lone Peak Knights 21-12 in the last quarter and a half. Almost a turnover right there, but we got a reach-in foul on Kennedy Woolston. And she has a bit of a word with the official. She didn't exactly like that call. And that's something you don't normally see, Zach, from Kennedy Woolston.
Yeah, you see it's kind of turning into a little bit of a sloppy play on both sides, where they're so evenly matched that just things aren't connecting the way they usually do.
In the corner, Frazier way over the rim for 3, and the rebound is captured long style by Shawnee Nordstrom. Into the post, here comes Bartholomew. Gets the turn, offensive foul. As she hooked around the hip of the defender, and that was a pretty easy call. Doug Jardina, our cameraman, a former UHSAA official himself, nodding his head in agreement with that call, Zach. I think that was the right call.
Yeah, definitely on that. She just whipped around. And you can see that Bartholomew from the start, it might be a rough game where she might not be able to get some of those calls down low that she usually does.
2 fouls on Bartholomew. She's going to have to sit for a while. Marston. Out front, gives it over to Barker. Barker back to Marston. Marston dribbles, finds Johnson in the post. Can't get it to go. Left it a bit short. And the rebound is cleared by Tanavasa. The trailer behind her is Lawrence, but she wants the three. She can't get the three, and Marston clears the boards.
Seems as if Marston has control of the ball all night for the Copper Hills.
Meanwhile, we got a foul on the other end as Kaylee Rich not able to clear the boards, and Zach again, another offensive rebound for CH, and Lone Peak just not able to close the door defensively. As we got a timeout here by Nancy Warner. I think she's seen what we're seeing, and I think she's seen enough.
That's what we're seeing down low too. Copper Hills is so good at just getting to the basket and bringing it down, getting those offensive boards, and then just driving to the hoop. And that's what's thrown Lone Peak off so far, is they're used to driving in, but they're seeing a reflection of that, like you mentioned earlier. And that's what's kind of throwing the Knights off a little bit right now.
I'd like to remind you, KSL Sports Rewind's coverage of Lone Peak girls basketball is presented all season long by Heidemann & Associates, the full-service law firm fully committed to winning for you, the client. Call them today at 801-754-4240 or visit them online at utah.law to get your free consultation with them, courtesy of the Rewind Sports Network. We also like to remind you that at the conclusion of tonight's game, Zach and I will be selecting our choice for the Heidemann & Associates Player of the Game, presented by the full-service law firm that is committed to winning for you, the client. Alexander Tumulib with Zach Hunter here on this Tuesday night from LP Fieldhouse. On this Tuesday night of premier matchups across girls basketball, this is one of them right now. And right now, Lone Peak, again, has not lost consecutive home games to opponents in the state of Utah in 3 years. Their loss to Ridgeline back a couple of weeks ago was the first time they had dropped a Utah opponent home game since 2020. As Skyly Barker steps up to the line and splashes the first free throw. But it had to have been expected, given the fact that Lone Peak is trying to replace a lot of big pieces from the last couple of years, as that free throw trip goes 1 for 2. Under 4 minutes to go here in the first half, as Taylor gets the steal away from Kennedy Woolstead and goes in and scores. She is having herself a half and a more here in this first half. She's got 14 of the 24 for CH.
And I think that just kind of encapsulates what's been happening in these first 2 quarters, is just dominance by Copper Hills taking advantage of those one-weave matchups that Lone Peak was fearing.
Shawnee Nordstrom, no good on the 3. Ellie Taylor the rebound. And again, you're right, Zach, that's one of the things that Nancy Warner said to us before the game. It could come down to winning the one-on-one matchups. Skyly Barker smooth with it to the hole. And the largest lead for Copper Hills now. They lead by 7. And speaking of, Barker and Taylor have combined for, stop me if you heard this before, Zach, 23 of the 26.
They're in deja vu.
Tanavasa drives into the paint, dishes to Rich. Nice pass, blocked though by Barker. 3-on-1 in transition. Barker drives inside, and a blocking foul called on Kennedy Woolstead. Katie Lawrence will check back in. Inbound will come in from underneath.
It looks like Lone Peak is just trying every different combination of defense right now, and things just aren't clicking the way they used to.
It started so well with that 7-0 lead, but seems like things have kind of stalled out over the last few minutes. Ellie Taylor gives Copper Hills a double-digit lead, and she's got 17.
Massive numbers by Taylor in the first half.
Well, she's enjoying the Black Friday shopping right now, the post-Black Friday deals right now.
More of a Cyber Monday
More of a Cyber Monday side deal than anything else. Lawrence drives to the basket. Blocked again by Taylor. Here comes Marston. Marston with numbers coming the other way. Taylor, why not? A little heat check right there as that rebound is tipped down to Marston. Marston, bodies hit the deck, and Kennedy Woolston comes out of there with the ball. Lone Peak has scored just 12 points in the last 6 minutes. They've turned it over 6 times. Naya Tanuvasa and Shawnee Nordstrom have combined for 12 of the 19 as that three by Zuri Nordstrom goes over the rim. Barker in transition, extra pass, three on the way, that's no good. Ellie Taylor flying in for the rebound from behind, and she is fouled.
The Grizzlies just appear to be so good in transition of getting down to the basket and beating the Knights down there to set something up, and that's what's really been a game changer thus far in the half.
Taylor to the line, hits the first.
Substitution number 21, Naya Tanuvasa.
And that's what we talked about, Zach, coming into the game. We kind of figured that, how would Lone Peak, or rather, how would Copper Hills hold up against this run and gun Knights offense? Instead, it looks like the opposite's happening, and right now Lone Peak just has no answer for this Copper Hills offense or the defense.
And really, the Grizzlies are just capitalizing on these fouls, on these free throws. As you see, Warner made one. They're taking advantage of the calls that they're getting.
Well, Lone Peak needs to get something going, trying to find some offensive traction. Nordstrom back out to Zuri. Pass was deflected right to Tanuvasa. Tanuvasa back to Rich. Rich drives. 10 on the shot clock. Tanuvasa drives along the baseline. Count it, and one! That'll help. She's now got 9 points and a chance to go to the line to complete the old-fashioned three-point play.
You could just feel the energy of Lone Peak fans in the crowd here just wanting something to happen.
Lone Peak now trails by 9 with 48.5 officially left to go here in the first half. Ellie Taylor and Skyly Barker have combined for 28 of the 31 points. They have outscored the Lone Peak Knights by themselves. I am not kidding you. Cross-court swing to Taylor, 18 on the shot clock. Dump on the block to Barker. Off the curl, Frazier, little jumper from the corner. Yes! 33-22, Copper Hills, and this will be the last possession of the first half. Shawnee Nordstrom out front, almost lost control of it. On the roll to Zuri, turnover there. Ball poked away though. Shawnee drives, hook off the glass, won't go. That's it for the first half. Wow, what a first half it was for Copper Hills, Zach. We have to keep touching on it. Skyly Barker and Ellie Taylor have combined for 28 of the Grizzlies' 33. They have outscored the Knights by themselves in this first half. That's insane.
We're really seeing a dynamic new duo emerge from those two of them, and that's really, they're so controlled around the top of the arc, and that's really what's proved the Grizzlies' success so far in this first half.
What a first half it was for Jake Timpson's Grizzlies. They lead by 11 at the break. This presentation of of Lone Peak basketball on the Rewind Sports Network will continue after this message and a word. Welcome back, everyone. Just about ready for the start of the second half between Copper Hills and Lone Peak. This presentation of Lone Peak basketball on the Rewind Sports Network is presented by Heidemann and Associates. 33-22 Copper Hills over Lone Peak at the half. So Zach, I was just talking to you as we were talking about this during the break. If you would have said to me Copper Hills would have had Skyly Barker 9 points, And Ellie Taylor with 19 in that first half. Single-handedly outscore LP in that first half. I would have said you're nuts, but here we are right now. Copper Hills has come out with nothing to lose. They're playing like it, and LP just hasn't found a way to respond yet.
That's really what we've seen so far in this half, is that the control really has been in Copper Hills' favor. Lone Peaks just seems to not be able to predict what's going to happen down low, and we've seen frustration, especially on the defensive end, where there's just open Grizzlies available to get the boards and put it right back, and that's really what's been a difference or a game changer for the Grizzlies, is being able to get down there and get to the board.
And that's what we talked about, Zach, with Coach Nancy Warner before the game, is that they had to close out defensive possessions. I've lost count at this point how many O boards the Grizzlies have, but given the fact that Lone Peak has the superior size and physicality on the glass, it's shocking that they're getting out-hustled to every ball. Like, we've never seen this before.
Granted, we are seeing hustle from the Knights as well. It just seems that there's a lot of control by the Grizzlies of when to move as we resume play.
Well, Copper Hills 11 points ahead. Remember, Ellie Taylor with 19, Skyly Barker with 9. Speaking of which, there she is, but she can't finish it. They both have combined 28 points. The Knights have just 22. Sarah Bartholomew in the post. That doesn't go, with a rebound taken out by Marston. Might be a good idea to try to get Bartholomew involved more in the offense, as Ayla Marston gets smacked at the summit there by Tonavasa. Lawrence charging ahead in transition, trying to find Bartholomew. He may have forced that pass a bit. It'll stay here as it touched out of bounds on the baseline. Naya Tonavasa just 5 points, or rather Shawnee Nordstrom just 5 points. Naya Tonavasa 10 points. She leads Lone Peak scoring. Tonavasa off the inbound pass, a little too strong. Tipped up, rebound tipped out of bounds. Back it goes to Copper Hills. Good hands there from Bartholomew.
What you're seeing too is that coming out of the locker room, it appears that the Knights are trying to go to the basket more, trying to get those close, easy shots that the Grizzlies have done so well at in the first half.
Marston looking low. We got an offensive foul. We got a push-off. Push-off called on Frazier as Jake Timpson arguing his case down there on the baseline. Woolston fires it across to Lawrence. Lawrence, nice crossover, gets to the basket. And foul from behind there by Johnson.
Foul on number 22, Taylor Johnson. The first personal, second team foul.
I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more people get to the line in this half, a lot more fouls. It feels like this is going to be the pace for the next few minutes.
Lawrence to the line, her first shot is good. And that's part of the reason why Lone Peak, you would think, is going to have a chance in this game, because of those opportunities. It has been getting, Zach, rather physical down there in the post. Lawrence hits both, and this is the closest the Knights have been here at 9. Largest lead for CH was 11 points, matched it twice. Top of the key now, here's Taylor, matched up against Bartholomew, goes to the basket, gets stripped by Nordstrom. Nordstrom's got Lawrence running ahead if she got her. Good transition defense, though, dumps it back to Tonavasa, open three. That doesn't go. Now we got it over the back foul on Bartholomew, and that's going to be her third.
Number 45, Sarah Bartholomew.
What was interesting to see on that is that Lone Peak definitely had made progress coming out of that locker room, that they want to be fast to the ball, but the Grizzlies defense matched it in that transition play.
Yeah, great defense coming back on the transition play there by Taylor Johnson. As you said, speeding down the floor to take away that basket opportunity at the rim. Quickly across to Johnson. Now back to Barker. Barker dribbles off the screen. Now gets it up top to Taylor, or rather to Marston. Now here's Johnson. 10 on the shot clock. Looking low for Taylor. Inside out. What a pass that was, and what a three! Skyly Barker off the great touch pass from Ellie Taylor. She's doing it all, and this is the largest Copper Hills lead of the night.
Just see how fast that Taylor had made that pass. It was a hot potato play right out to the end.
And that pass sails out of bounds. As Zuri Nordstrom comes in, and Copper Hills just doing Lone Peak one better now on every end of the floor. "31 of the 36 points combined go to Taylor and Barker. Marston in the paint. Turnaround shot won't go. Woolston wants to run. Tanavasa drives, kicks it out to Zuri. Into the corner. Lawrence, wide open three. Off the top of the rim, off the top of the backboard. Tipped out of bounds. It will stay here. And a new 35 here for LP. As Katie Lawrence has to tie her shoe down there on the left side of the lane. Again, Lone Peak has not lost consecutive home games to Utah opponents in 3 years. Katie Lawrence off the mark on that three, tipped out of bounds. It'll stay here once again.
Trying everything down low to get something up.
And again, another three by Nordstrom won't go. Look out! Marston's all by herself ahead of the pack, and she's going to lay it off the glass and in. 38-24, Copper Hills.
You can really tell the Grizzlies have made a point of that in practice, of getting to the hoop in those transition plays.
And they are just outworking the Lone Peak Knights to every single loose ball right now. It's just astonishing. Tanavasa in the post, turns around, kicks it out. Lawrence drives, dishes, nice pass. Good patience there to find Kaylee Rich, and a much-needed basket for Lone Peak. That's her first points. Taylor coming up from behind, but that pass got thrown away. Tanavasa now coming up with it in transition. Kennedy Woolston spins, kicks it out. Lawrence for three. Offensive rebound, Zuri Nordstrom on the putback. And there's a sign of life for LP.
Might have been messy, but they got it done.
It's now a 10-point game. Can Lone Peak somehow chip away at this deficit and get back into the game? Barker to the basket. Left it short. Woolston the rebound. Chance to cut it to single digits. Zuri drives to the basket. Tumbles in. And all of a sudden, we're back in an 8-point game, and Jane Timpson says, that's enough. A full timeout by Copper Hills. We'll take one with them. Things beginning to tighten up down near the end of the third here in Highland. Well, things beginning to tighten up down the stretch of the third quarter here in Highland, Utah. Alexander Timmop alongside Salem Hills graduate Zach Hunter. 38-30, Copper Hills leads Lone Peak, but just a few moments ago, Zach, we were staring down the barrel of a 12-point lead. What has changed here in the past few minutes here for the Knights?
Really just getting those balls in transition, really, for the Knights. They're capitalizing on those plays. They're getting the boards. We saw some good passing down low, and that's really what's turned the tide for the Knights. Let's see if they can keep that momentum in these next few minutes. 6
straight points for Lone Peak. Skyly Barker to answer with a three. That doesn't go. She came down awkwardly. Looked like someone closed down in her landing area, but the rebound is closed down by Nordstrom. Tanuvasa drives. Pull up from 13. That doesn't go. Rat attacks through traffic. Scramble for it on the floor. Tanuvasa comes out of there with it. She gets the tie up, and that is going to be a possession arrow in favor of LP, as we get a warning now to both Frazier and Tarnovasa, they were getting a little tangled up near the top of the key, and so the official comes in and says recess is over, folks. Rich for three. Yahtzee! And would you believe it, 9 straight points, and Lone Peak is within 5.
Wide open right on that inbound play. They got to be happy with that.
Loja almost loses it. Back out it comes, Barker. Taylor and Barker have not scored so far here in the second half. Frazier for three. Ribs out. Tarnovasa gets it. Here she comes in transition. Tarnovasa drives to the basket, blocked by Frazier. Maybe rushed out a little bit and dribbling through traffic. Out with it is Barker. Into the corner. Taylor, wide open three. That doesn't go. Offensive rebound for Johnson. That doesn't go. Rat attacks around and Tarnovasa clears. And wisely, they'll slow it down. 2 minutes left here in the third quarter. What was once a 14-point Grizzly lead has been cut to 5. A 9-0 run by the Knights. Copper Hills hasn't scored in almost 4 minutes. Nordstrom, step back three. Got it!
She was very controlled on that. Just take a step back, look, shot, getting within 2 now for the Knights.
Taylor, step back off the screen. She can't answer. Suddenly Copper Hills has gone cold. And a chance here for LP to tie or take the lead. They're on a 12-0 run in the last 3 minutes.
And you saw some signaling from Coach Warner to slow the ball, to keep possession, and to pass around.
Tarnovasa gets the screen, drives, kicks it out. Rich for the lead. Off the mark, Bartholomew the offensive board, and a new 35. Tarnovasa drives, step back from 8 feet. And the rebound is captured by Barker. They've had plenty of good looks, but they just haven't been able to get them to fall. Barker charging down the lane, blocked by Tarnovasa. Here comes Nordstrom, coast to coast, sprinting to the basket. No! Offensive rebound, Rich, and this game is tied! Taylor for three. Bingo! What an answer from Ellie Taylor. A 14-0 run is finally broken, as this will be the final possession of what's been a wild third quarter. Lawrence off the screen with 10. Lawrence driving. Lawrence speeding around the baseline. Nice dish. Bartholomew banks it in. What was once a Copper Hills runaway has just become a whole lot tighter. Here we go to the fourth quarter. A 1-point game here at the Fieldhouse. Here we go. Fourth quarter about to begin here at the Fieldhouse. In a game that was once a 14-point lead for Copper Hills, a 16-3 run to end the quarter has made it a 1-point game. Alexander Timok alongside Zach Hunter for Lone Peak Girls Basketball, presented by Heinemann and Associates. Zach, what turned the tide there for the Lone Peak Knights there late in that third quarter, that 16-3 run?
Well, I think it was two things. It was definitely control and speed by the Knights, but as well Copper Hills, it looks as if they've kind of exhausted their resources with Taylor. Definitely she's hitting threes but we're seeing their reliance on one versus the Knights with spreading the offense.
Ellie Taylor and Skyly Barker have 34 of the 41 points here for Copper Hills. They were up once by as many as 14, but it's gotten a whole lot tighter here in Highland. Off the glass, that doesn't go there for Skyly Barker. The rebound by Kennedy Woolston. The Knights have not led since it was 8-7. That was way back in the first quarter. They've trailed by as many as 14 points. As Katie Lawrence drives into the post, kicks it back to Rich, 15 on the shot clock. Rich into the corners, Zuri Nordstrom, 10 on the shot clock, back to Shawnee. Someone's got to get to work here. Shawnee fakes, drives, dishes inside to Zuri for the basket! A Nordstrom rack connection! 42-41 in the first lead for LP since it was 8-7.
You're starting to see, as we see Taylor's shot, starting to see just things connect for the Knights of the speed, especially down low.
Lawrence for three. No. Maybe got a little greedy there. Rebound to Frazier. Copper Hills led by as many as 14, and now it's become a whole lot tighter. If it feels like we're beating a dead horse, we are. Hard to believe it was a 14-point CH lead at one point in this ball game. Taylor puts up the three. That doesn't go. Kennedy Woolston the rebound. Nancy Warner wants her team to run. And on the trailer, Woolston almost lost it. Now can regain her dribble. And smartly, Nancy Warner will call a timeout with 5 minutes and 59 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. It is a full timeout, and we will take one with LP. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this word from Mountain Land Truck Outfitters. Well, Doug Jardine, our cameraman, telling you all what you need to know about the game, the story of the game. It's really been a tale of two halves. Alexander Tulip and Zach Hunter. I mean, Zach, Doug is showing it to the viewers at home. Copper Hills is leaning on Skyly Barker and Ellie Taylor to do damage. And meanwhile, nobody's barely had to do any work on the other side for LP.
Really what you're seeing is that Lone Peak has cracked the code of what the Grizzlies' real plan was offensively. And they've somehow locked on defensively and spread the ball on the offense.
It is 20-8 in the second half. And we got an offensive foul against Sarah Bartholomew, and that's a biggie because that's her fourth. And that is a very unfortunate, untimely turnover for LP. That's their 10th tonight. And it could not have come at a worse time. Trying to nurse this 1-point lead. By the way, their largest lead was 7. It was 7-0 early on. As Taylor, corner jumper, got it. That's her first field goal here in the second half, outside of the three-pointer. And the Grizzlies mosey back in front here with under 5.5 to go here in the game. Copper Hills' JV girls team trying to turn up the volume down on the south end. Nordstrom, deep three. That doesn't go. And the rebound is captured by Ayla Marston.
Marston has been all over the boards tonight, bringing that ball down and really helping her team get on the other side of the court.
Dribble handoff, here's Barker. Barker. Frazier, back to Marston, 15 on the shot clock. Fakes, puts up the 6-footer. Too strong, and the rebound, Tanavasa. Had a good look at it. Tanavasa in transition, gets the screen from Bartholomew. Still out there with the 4 fouls. Kennedy Woolston, blocked by Ellie Taylor! Here she comes in transition. Puts on the brakes, finds Frazier off the glass, won't go, tip up. And the rebound is cleared by by Shawnee Nordstrom.
I feel that's really just been what this second half has looked like. Copper Hills is really good at making big plays, but then Lone Peak is controlled at getting it back.
Nordstrom, head fake. Kicks it back. Kennedy Woolston, wide open three. It's hipped and grabbed by Bartholomew. Offensive rebound. And she puts it back up and in. Lone Peak back on top with 4 minutes left. Barker to the basket. She's fouled on the body contact. As meanwhile, Kaylee Rich lost her shoe down there on the lane. Foul called on Tanavasa. That is only her first.
Her first personal, second team foul.
It wasn't on the block. It was on the body contact on the hip check. And so Skyly Barker will head to the line.
These are some crucial shots right here.
She has not scored in the second half yet. And now she has. Tie game at 44 with 3:53 officially left on the clock. Zuri Nordstrom, Katie Lawrence back into the ball game. Sarah Bartholomew checks out with the 4 fouls, so you'd have to imagine, Zach, that Nancy Warner is going to keep her on the bench for quite a while.
She replaces Aspen Frazier.
And that's a big piece of their rebounding core that is gone, and now LP needs somebody to step up on the glass.
A valuable asset for sure.
As Skyly Barker gives Copper Hills the lead back. As we're under 4 minutes to go. Nordstrom drives. Tanavasa gets it. Can't finish it. And the rebound captured by Johnson. A lot of hands fighting for it. Nordstrom comes out and they won it. And a new 35 for LP, down by 1. We've had 6 lead changes here in the second half. Nordstrom, one more. Woolston, foul! No good. The foul is going to be on the floor. It was before the shot. Nancy Warner trying to argue her case down here that it was a shooting foul. But they're not going to get the benefit of the doubt. And now Warner's coming over to have a word with the umpire. Zach, I swore that was a shooting foul.
You don't swear often either. And yeah, that was a lot of contact down low.
Well, in fairness, perhaps that was a makeup call for all the reaching and scraping they didn't do on the previous rebound.
Possibly, and you can hear the crowd is getting very animated right now as we have about 3 minutes left.
Crunch time here at LP. Nordstrom, wing side for 3, way off. Rebound is captured by Tanavasa, but she's set to the line.
Second 32, Kaylee Rich replaces Kennedy Woolston.
It's a little taste of February and March basketball here in December, as Jake Timpson going to take a timeout here. And I believe he's going to have 2 left. It's a full timeout, but we will keep it right here on the air. We'll remind you that KSL Sports Rewind's coverage of high school basketball continues on Thursday as the Dixie Flyers meet the Orem Golden Tigers. Dane Stewart and special guest Hector Morales have the call. Thursday night at 7 p.m. on the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com. And then Mountain Crest plays Ogden and Woods Cross plays Alta in a special boys doubleheader Friday night at 7 p.m. All on your home for UHSAA basketball, the Rewind Sports Network. Well, here we got a dandy going between undefeated Copper Hills and Lone Peak here. Alexander Timop alongside Zach Hunter and our cameraman Doug Jardine here at LP Fieldhouse. Well, Zach, what do you think Jake Timpson's saying down in that huddle right now to his team?
I think he's just trying to remind them of what worked well in the first half for the Grizzlies. He wants them to continue to press and to capitalize on the turnovers that they had. But Coach Warner definitely has changed the game for the Knights here and the style of play so that they can get back on the board within 1.
3 minutes and 9 seconds officially left here in the Fieldhouse. Ellie Taylor has 24 points. Skyly Barker has 14 rather. She's defended by Tanuvasa, one of the best defenders for LP right now. She's chucked out front. Marston looking low, finds Frazier. No good, but a foul. And if that's on Sarah Bartholomew, that is aloha and goodbye. That is her fifth. And now things just got really murky here for LP as far as rebounding is concerned, because that's a big part of their defense that just went out.
It's definitely been a strange game, and Bartholomew, straight from the start, getting those calls. It's definitely altered what the Knights have done down low.
2:45 to go. Copper Hills nursing a 1-point lead. 20 on the shot clock here for Marston. Goes downhill, puts on the brakes. Barker in the paint, trap, back to Taylor. 13 on the shot clock. Someone's got to get to work. Taylor gets it back to Johnson. 9 on the shot clock. Marston now with 7. Drives, puts a stop on, gets to the basket and scores! Of all the people to score, it's Ayla Marston with her second field goal. Still a one-possession game, though, with 2 minutes to go.
Marston just very controlled, and they wait till just the right moment to get that shot up, and it worked.
Someone's got to get to work. Tanuvasa now with 10 on the shot clock. Again, LP getting deep into the shot clock. Both teams are here. Rich back to Nordstrom. Nordstrom, nowhere to go. Jury, jumper, top of the key. That doesn't go. Offensive rebound by Shawnee. Shovels it back to Rich, new 35. Attacks downhill. Again, just no room to operate for that Knights offense. Copper Hills' defense standing tall like a brick wall out there right now. 20 on the shot clock. Time draining away on the Knights. Nordstrom finally gets to the basket. She is fouled. And we're going to get an offensive foul. It's a push-off on Shawnee Nordstrom. Nancy Warner wants an explanation. She's halfway out of the court. She's going to utilize one of her 2 timeouts here with 1:15 to go. The 11th turnover of the night for the Knights, Zach, and boy, we talked about the timeliness of those turnovers. That one could not have come at a worse time.
The Knights really right now want to capitalize on the moments they have. They've been so controlled coming out of the halftime locker room. But right now the Grizzlies are just pressing forward and maintaining control. And right now Coach Warner is talking with their girls about how can we break this? How can we take this home? And these moments are very crucial.
So Copper Hills has 2 timeouts left. Knights only have 1. Sarah Bartholomew already out. And with the next foul, Copper Hills will be in the bonus here, Zach. So if you think about it, not a lot of room for error left defensively for LP. They've got to get a stop.
They got to get a stop right now. For the Grizzlies, they really just need to maintain control and just get a few, maybe 2 good baskets right here. That's going to set it up. That's what's going to take them to the end. And so it's going to be a fight to the finish. You can already feel it.
1:15 to go. We keep saying it. Lone Peak has not lost consecutive games to Utah opponents since 2020. They are perilously close to the precipice now. 1:15 away from slipping below 500. And Copper Hills, meanwhile, is 1:15 away from potentially the biggest statement win of the entire season so far in Utah high school basketball. Almost turning it over is Taylor out front. Under a minute to go. Fumbled into the backcourt. Saved that there somehow. 10 on the shot clock. Marston's got to move. 5 seconds. Marston drives, kicks it. Ellie Taylor! Unbelievable! Nordstrom trying to answer. She does! And a timeout is immediately called by LP. 27.3 seconds to go. crazy sequence that was.
The Grizzlies right there, they had so much energy. And with that backcourt save, you did not know if they were going to be able to get to the basket. But time and time again throughout this game, it's come down to the last second, and the Grizzlies have capitalized on it. But to answer, Lone Peak taking that deep three from behind the arc to keep in this game, keep within 2. It is a battle to the end.
So, Zach, I asked the question now, being that it's a 2-point game and Copper Hills will be put in the bonus on this next foul. The question is, how long do you wait before you commit the foul? Because you could potentially try to trap Copper Hills in the backcourt, make them utilize one of their timeouts to avoid a 10-second violation or try to force a turnover, or you could foul immediately and try and see if you can't make them miss both free throws. What do you think the strategy is here from Nancy Warner?
I think definitely it's going to come down to those last few seconds right here. She's just telling her teammates, right, or her players right now, just to maintain control, do what they can, do what they've done in practice, and that's what's really going to set them up for the rest of the game.
27.3 seconds left to go here in the game. Lone Peak, no more timeouts. Copper Hills with 2 timeouts left. As we're waiting for the final few seconds to run off the clock. They reset the clock to 29.9 seconds to go. Copper Hills still has 2 timeouts. They get it into Barker. Barker, they try to trap her in the backcourt. Good screen there from Marston. Marston gets up there, and now a foul is committed with 20 and a half seconds left here in regulation. So as we suspected, they were going to try to trap in the backcourt and then commit the foul as soon as somebody crossed midcourt.
Ayla Marston shooting 2.
Ayla Marston is shoot 2 here. And she misses the first. And so the door is ajar here for LP. Remember, they have no more timeouts left. She hits the second, and it's a 3-point game. No timeouts for LP. Nordstrom just trying to go for the quick 2. Misses it! Rebound, Ellie Taylor. She is fouled with 9.2 seconds to go.
Only chance right there was to foul after it went down. So unfortunate for the Knights that wanted that basket so bad, taking it into the rim, but this free throw right here might seal the deal.
Ellie Taylor, perfect. 27 points. 41 total points scored by her and Skyly Barker. Timeout called by Jake Timpson with 9.2 seconds to go. And you have to applaud, Zach, the strategy of Nancy Warner right there, going for the quick basket. Not a lot of high school players would have taken the bait there in that situation to go for the quick basket. They would have just tried to chuck up the 3 and just see what happened there. That was a pretty good job by Shawnee Nordstrom. They just couldn't get it to fall.
Definitely a good play to set up. Definitely rely on Nordstrom, but it just did not happen. And the Grizzlies again capitalized on that turnover, grabbing that rebound, crashing the boards. And that's what really brought them to this point, being 4 ahead. They could take them to the end.
So Copper Hills has 1 more timeout left. Lone Peak has no more timeouts left. What a ball game we've had here tonight here at LP. Taylor Rich out, Kennedy Woolston in, so all the Gunners in the ball game here for Lone Peak. And I think we had some miscommunication on the substitution. They must have thought that they had already not shot the free throw yet, so Woolston will be allowed to come in. 9.2 seconds left here at the Fieldhouse. Taylor makes the second. It's a 5-point game. Inbound comes in. And a smart foul there by Skyly Barker. The Grizzlies still have quite a bit of fouls to give. Just a second team foul on CH, so.
And you're hearing Copper Hills to press right here.
And another foul here as Barker tried to defend the inbound pretty hard there on Naya Tanavasa.
Her first personal, 13 foul.
As again, Copper Hills has a little bit of breathing room with the fouls. They still have 2 more to give. Nordstrom with 4. Nordstrom deep 3. That's no good. The buzzer sounds, and the Copper Hills Grizzlies have made a tremendous statement to 6A and potentially the rest of Utah as they defeat the 2-time defending champs on the road 52-47, and they remain undefeated. Zach, what a game and what a win for CH. We talked about signature wins and statement wins. This certainly counts as one for Jake Timpson's team, 8-0, and they just knocked off the 2-time defending champs on the road. Not an easy thing to do.
Definitely, this is a remarkable win for Copper Hills to take down Lone Peak, such a renowned program, to be able to take them down, to maintain control. You saw it a little bit in the third quarter right there where things started to get a little iffy. But again, they persisted, they powered through to the end, and really it just came down to who can get it done at the very last second. Copper Hills was able to do that tonight.
So let's name now our Heidemann & Associates players of the game. Yes, I said players, presented by the full-service law firm, because that's fully committed to winning for you, the client. Zach, we would be very remiss if we did not name both Skyly Barker and Ellie Taylor, who combined for 42 of the 52 Copper Hills points. They are a tandem to be reckoned with right now in 6A Region 2.
Definitely. You see Taylor just dominated. She was able to get the ball. There were multiple times where you could tell the play was just rely on Taylor to shoot the 3, and she got it done. And really, both those players, Taylor and Barker, remarkable performance tonight. That's what sealed the Grizzlies' win tonight.
Zach, it's probably not Lone Peak and everybody else anymore. I think Copper Hills just made a marker and said, hey, we're here too. And I think they just made a massive statement with this win here tonight. It's definitely a statement for sure. LP falls to 3-4. Copper Hills 8-0 or 7-0 on the season, and they just dethroned and they just knocked off one of the Titans in 6A. A 52-47 decision here this evening. For Zach Hunter and Doug Jardine and the rest of our KSL Sports Rewind crew, Alexander Timlev saying good night from Highland, Utah. This has been another presentation of Lone Peak Girls Basketball on the Rewind Sports Network, presented by Heidemann & Associates. Until we meet again, folks, have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next time. Aloha from Utah, and good night.